Rescue the Audi.
I am content, man. I'll give you content. I'll blow stuff up. I don't care.
Alright, so today we got a Audi 2001 A6 with a 2.7T twin turbo engine, and it's leaking out of the lower driver side radiator area. I'm pretty sure that it's actually the cracked plastic on the radiator. We haven't actually dug into it yet to find out, but we do have a replacement ready to go in. So we're going to take this apart and show you exactly how to do it. Used OEM replacement. Alright, the first thing we're going to want to do is right in the front of the tires on each side. We got two 10mm bolts there, and then we also have some Torx head bolts. There's also one back there and up there as well, and you can fold the wheel well back a little bit to kind of get access to the next couple of bolts we need. Those are T25. Alright, and when removing the inner fender bolts and stuff off, it's best to try to turn the wheel to each side. If you do that, you shouldn't even really need to put it up on a lift or anything. We were able to do all of this without jacking it up. Alright, now we have the three bolts here. They're 10mm. They're attaching the bumper to the body, to the fender rather. We need to take those off. And this is basically the inner fender just peeled back a little bit, so that way we have access to get in there. Alright, these are the three little 10mm bolts from the bottom underneath, holding the fender to the bumper, and there's three on each side. Alright, so right here we have to pop this little cover off the fog light cover in order to gain access to the back. So it just pops right off, and then the bolt that we need, it's up inside of a hole right here. 8mm hex. Some of them may also be a Torx head. And there will be one on the other side as well. And right here in the front we have two Phillips at this point. They may be a little bit different on your car, but Phillips on ours, both sides, to take these little cover shrouds off. And once you get that off, you can kind of like bend it and wiggle it out of place, and it'll spin on. Alright, passenger side, there are some clips right here. So you just need to basically pull down and out on this a little bit, and it should pop right out. There you go. And you can see she's free on this side. There we go. Got it. And then wiggle that forward. Yeah, if you just disconnect the bumper and let it sit, it should be up out of your way enough to gain access to the radiator and all of the bolts required. A little bottle of water right there under the license plate frame seems to help pretty good. Alright, and we just need to take those two screws off on the front of this little intake. So we have 10mm here, two more 10mm up here and here, and we'll be able to get this whole unit right up out of the way. We got a T30 Torx here down on the bottom of the cooling fan here on the front, and additionally we have one more 10mm bolt right there. Alright, so now that you have the fans disconnected and this cooler line right here, you can pull these down and kind of just set them out of the way, and that'll give you access to work on the radiator. Now you have the AC condenser evaporator. I don't know which one it is, I can't remember. You just kind of pull it forward a little bit at the top, and then it's in some slots down here on the bottom so you can lift it up. But you got to pull it forward a little bit at the top first in order to get it out. There we go. And then you can kind of tip this out of your way so you have access to the radiator. We have a couple of clips here at the top. You're going to want to use two screwdrivers to get this out. One to pry the clip in the middle, right here over a little bit, and another screwdriver to get it underneath there and push up on it. There's usually not too hard to get off. And then there's one on both sides. We cannot pull out this side here because there's a coolant hose on the top. Now there's a little clip on this coolant hose, and once you pop that clip off, you should be able to pull it right out, and they come off fairly easily. You may not be able to see this or not, I'm not sure, but I'll show you the clip once I get it out. That's the clip once you pull it off. This one's a little crusty. I'm glad we have some spares. Use a screwdriver from the front side here and whack on it a couple times. There we go. Got that off. and that's the one that was holding it up on the front here. So it gives us a little bit more room to pull this one out. All right, we're gonna have to get some more, do some more work back here in the top. So we're gonna have to pop these intake pieces out of the way. Manual version, you may not have these. These are the transmission cooler lines, and there's two of them. You need a 10mm socket to take those off, and there's one on the top here, and then there's one down further on the bottom. Alright, so I have a big old crowbar in here to try and separate this. It's basically, when you try to move the radiator out, this is the transmission cooler line that stops you from taking it out because of the fan shroud and everything there. So I'm trying to see if I can pry this off. There it goes. There we go. That seems to be the best way to take those off, is just to hammer it out from the front. That way you don't pry off of the radiator if you need to save it, and have something down below to catch it, which we do have something down there to catch it. Now that'll give us some more access here to pull this forward. As you can see right there, we have another one of those types of fittings to take off. So that'll be the next one. Alright, now that we got that last bolt out of there, I'm going to try and do the same kind of deal here where we pry it out. Keep in mind, this is a radiator that we don't care about, so if it is, you want to be delicate with this, and you don't want to break anything, because if you're prying against the radiator, you can definitely damage something. It's only made out of plastic in some of these spots. I think I'm going to do what I did last time and hit right there. Can you hold this forward? There it goes. It's out. As you get that last one out, now the only one we really have left is the other radiator hose, which is right below that one, and it has a clip similar to the other side, and that's the very bottom one. That's just a clip, and it should come right off. My clip was bent and broken and keeping me from pulling this out all the way. You should be able to have access in the inside about like this, so you'll have plenty of room to get that bottom clip out. There you go. There's the old guy. So we got the Audi all back together. Unfortunately, we don't have any clips of us putting it all back together. I got really sick last week as we were doing it, and I had to stop for a while. And I'm still a little sick. You might be able to hear it. But we got it all back together again, and it is running really good now. Just a couple of notes. We did have to replace the O-rings on the transmission cooler lines. Those were kind of deteriorated from the oil, and we jammed them in pretty bad, and they got a little bit broken, so we just got some new ones. So if you do this job, you're going to want to make sure you get new ones. And other than that, everything went back together well. The only other thing you may need is new clips for the upper and lower radiator hoses. Ours were pretty rotted and broke, but other than that, everything went back together good, and we got the car hitting again. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.